All right, guys, today we're going to do something I've never seen before, which is to compare the stem separators from each major DAW. So let's start with FL Studio. We're going to move into Ableton, Logic Pro, and that's what we're going to focus on today. To do this test, I have a project in FL Studio. We're going to print this out. And
what we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again.
So we're just doing a little remix. I have some drums on the way. A bunch of drum breaks, and these sounds are from my Halo plugin at busyworksbeats.com/Halo. So basically, that's where the sounds are from. So we're going to compare it to the raw source. I'm going to export this as a wave, and then we're going to import this into FL Studio, Ableton, and Logic Pro. My personal favorite is Logic Pro. So here's why. We can right click. We can go to where it says processing, go to stem splitter. We have 6 tracks we can actually create. Outside of the simple 4 that other DAWs have. So let's apply this, and it only takes a couple seconds. It's really good. So let's hear the stem.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the traffic.
Now I love Logic because it's like they almost generate their own reverb. So if you listen to the vocal,
serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again.
we did lose a little fidelity on the dynamic range of the vocal. And you can kind of hear that.
In a low rider, the hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back.
Where goes the West? Okay, so because that vocal was so stereo and harmonically rich, I gave it these hard drums because I want to see the power of these stem separators. So this vocal is not the greatest. It is a little difficult because it is stereo spread. It is harmonically rich.
Back again in a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me, I'm the ghost rider.
But it sounds similar. The only thing is just the amount of dynamic and just that little part around here.
Fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me, I'm the ghost rider. More paper, more fire, but it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
That was pretty good. It kept the harmonic content sounding similar, but it lost some, again, depth, but it definitely hit the harmonics right. Now let's focus on the drums. Now AI models are known to not get that hi-hat right, so this is why I'm testing these drums specifically from our new drum kit. They got the essence of the drums for sure. It's just a little weak on those hi-hats, and you'll see that across stem separators. Here's the bass, also harmonically rich. So it added like this little subtle filter over the bass. And it's definitely combining some other elements like vocals or something inside of the bass. It's very subtle, but I can kind of pick up on. So you can hear that filter moving around. Nextly, we have, it says guitar. Forgot I even had this. Sounds pretty similar. Now, that guitar was a muted guitar and it was stereo separated. Here's the other strings. So it definitely segments each sound pretty well. So let's hear this all together.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me, I'm the ghost rider. More paper, more fire, but it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
It's almost like they mix it for you too. So let's hear the original. Let's unmute this and listen to the original.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me, I'm the ghost rider.
So it's almost like, again, they remixed it to make it more level.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me, I'm the ghost rider. More paper, more fire, but it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
It's almost like Logic made the mix better. That's pretty crazy. Okay, now let's move into FL Studio. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do this in real time to show you guys the speed. Let's extract from sample, all 4 layers. We're only limited to 4 layers here. Now the new FL has assigned to new mixer tracks. This is brand new. But as you guys can see, it's taking much longer than Logic. So not too long, but definitely longer. Here's FL.
Doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
Now that feels like it has more dynamic, but it loses the the essence of it. So here's the vocal.
What we doing right
Wow, the vocals are really bad.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a
That's
lot
really,
of
really bad.
trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African.
It's like this sound in there.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
So that's why I added so much stereo and harmonic content. I really want to see which stem extractor has the best separation tool. FL is failing so far in terms of vocal. Here's the instrument layer. Listen to this like static sound. A lot of artifacts. Safe to say Logic Pro is years and light years ahead of this. Here's the bass. Again, some more artifacts. It's like a downsample artifact. Let's hear what the drums sound like. Again, that wang 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 sound. Overall, I say FL Studio definitely failed the stem extraction test. That is very bad. And that's why I use this material, because it's so harmonically rich. Here's the original.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white.
These are almost unusable. Not almost, they are unusable. I couldn't use these.
Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown.
Like if you separate these, you can hear those flaws. Combined, you don't hear it, but when you separate them,
Out the hood,
it's just so obvious.
African, the South took hip hop, the West to get back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me.
Yeah, that's definitely the lowest so far. Now let's try Ableton's new stem separation. We're going to right click here and then go to, where is it at? At the bottom, we're going to go separate stems to new audio tracks. And we're going to do vocals, drums, bass, and other. Now notice these are still locked into those 4 components. We don't have that 6 component system like in Logic, for example. And this one takes probably just as long as FL.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
All right, so let's compare it to the original. Here's the original.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African.
All right, so let's go let's solo each layer.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
It seems like Ableton almost like compresses the vocal in a way. It's not bad.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
It definitely thins it out a little bit.
Brown, Asian.
It took away definitely the harmonic bite. So if you guys go back to Logic, for example, and then we solo the vocals, you're going to hear that harmonic rich.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by.
And that one, listening back to it, sounds a little compressed. Let's go back to Ableton. Whoops, solo this.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
So far, Logic sounds like Ableton in terms of the vocal, how it handled it. Sounds very similar. Now let's check the drum stem. So let's solo the drum. So again, that hi-hat, you can barely hear it. Sounds like a moving filter. Like whoop, 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 like that. So it's almost like the algorithm wants to get rid of the hi-hats. Let's hear Logic's drums. Let's go back. Notice you don't hear that filter movement, that whoa, whoa type sound. So in my ears, Logic definitely wins that one. Ableton has this like filter movement sound. Whoa, 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 whoa. And it gets rid of our harmonics of our drums. Next, let's focus on this bass layer. Here's Ableton. So it adds that like, which I think Logic did as well. So let's go back and let's test Logic's bass. So to my ear, Logic has a little more bite to the bass. Let's hear Ableton's bass. It's just missing a little bit of like bass frequencies. The average listener couldn't hear the difference, but it's a very subtle difference between the bass. Now let's go to their other category in Ableton and let's solo. As you can hear, some of the vocal artifacts are in the other category. And you can hear the drums in here. So I bet if we combine this with the vocal, we might have a more complete vocal. It seems as if, let me see here. Let's just mute the tracks in between. So here, let's play the vocal with this instrument track. Forgot we turned it off. My bad, y'all. Let's do this one.
What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough.
It's almost like a blanket over the audio. Okay, we don't need to do that in Logic, however, because we have the vocal separated perfectly. Let's add that guitar in so we can hear it.
What we're doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
To my ears, guys, Logic Pro wins by not a landslide, but it definitely wins by quality. It's kind of straightforward. I'll let you guys comment below which one you think sounds best. To my ears, Logic Pro sounds way better. All right, y'all. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.